Hey team, it is a brand new week and we are officially starting our first kind of real unit of the school year. So everything we've done up until now has mostly been kind of like get to know you and introductory activity, but now we're starting into some of the actual content of zoology. I should point out if you're watching this on the day that I'm posting it, August 31st, lots of your assignments, I think the first 5 or 6 assignments were all due last night. So it might take me a few days to get through and finalize grading all of those. As long as you turned them in on time, you'll get full credit for them. If they were late, they'll be penalized in the way that I said they would be in our original syllabus. So you can check that out in the Unit 0 folder in the What Should I Expect This Year document. Also, as a quick reminder, anytime I put a 0 in for a grade for you, that just means you haven't turned it in yet. So at that point, that's a motivating factor to you to be like, oh my gosh, I got a 0 on this. That 0 is not going to stay there forever. Do the work and then I'll update it. You might be penalized for being late, but it'll be way better than getting a 0. Um, a couple other things I wanted to mention to you guys. I wanted to say thank you to those of you who have reached out to me when you've had a problem. So sometimes I've posted a link that doesn't work, or I posted the little introductory quiz and I accidentally forgot to open it for you guys. It really helps me if you shoot me an email or a message on Schoology and say, hey, this doesn't actually work. If you guys don't tell me that, I don't always know it. So I appreciate you guys who have been reaching out to me when links don't work for you. With that in mind, it does really help me when you email me from your school account because that tells me who you are right away. And as I'm getting to know you, it'll help me solve the problem faster too. If you say, hey, I'm so-and-so and I'm in your third period zoology class, because when you do that, it really helps me find you on Schoology and try to figure out whatever the problem is. With that in mind, there have been some weird grading errors with Edpuzzle lately. So some of you guys have been getting perfect scores on Schoology, and then when it goes to PowerSchool, it drops your score for some reason. I'm working on that with the tech people at the district. So if that's happened to you, don't worry. I'm trying to get it fixed, and I'll get it fixed as soon as I can. Okay, on to our actual first topic. So a couple years ago when I taught this class for the first time, some of the major feedback I got from the students was they wanted to learn more about Ohio animals and some of the animals they could actually see right here day to day. And that's our first unit. We're going to start talking about Ohio butterflies and skippers. If you're like me, you're probably like, what the heck is the skipper? I just learned what a skipper was last year when I started teaching this topic. It's an insect that you'll see some pictures of it this week, but it's kind of halfway between a butterfly and a moth. So it's another little insect very closely related to butterflies. When I did this unit, I started it a year ago. I think I could literally name one butterfly, and that was the monarch. I probably couldn't have named hardly anything else. And I did a lot of research last year putting together these butterflies. And I've come up with a list of 20 of the most common butterflies. And now that I spent a whole year looking at flying things every time I go outside, I can promise you that if you learn these 20 butterflies and you just keep your eyes peeled anytime you're out on a walk and you see something fly by and you say, is that a butterfly? You will see all 20 of these without even really looking that hard. Just a few weeks ago, I went on a hike with my wife. We went on a hike that lasted for 3 or 4 hours. And on that hike, we saw over half of these 20 species. I think we saw 12 of them just on a regular random day in July, walking around through the woods and through fields. We saw them everywhere. And this is, to me, that's crazy because that means these have been here my whole life. And I just didn't even know it until I actually learned them and started looking for them. I hope you have a similar experience. I think I mentioned earlier this year, one of the goals of this class is to help you guys just kind of enjoy that world around you a little bit more. And one of the ways this class really pays off is if you actually put it to use. And these animals, we're going to learn birds and butterflies and mammals. If you start looking for them when you're out in the world, and you maybe spend a little more time going around out in the world looking for these things, the enjoyment just goes off the charts. I do want to point out a couple things on our Schoology page. So I'll have your schedule updated. We're going to have a new discussion here. We are going to do a virtual class this week. I'm going to push it back to Thursday instead of Tuesday, and I'll explain that in the assignment or the schedule why, and you're watching the weekly update right now. I want to point out here on Schoology that we've pretty much finished our class basics and introductions. And there's a new folder here that says Unit 1, Ohio Butterflies and Skippers. That's where all of our assignments for this week are going. And if we don't quite wrap it up, our first couple assignments next week will be in there also. Okay, I think that's the main stuff I needed to tell you. Oh, one other thing I want to mention is I've been talking with Mr. Hinsey, and I've also been talking with a local butterfly specialist, and we are going to try to set up an opportunity for you guys to actually meet up with me and this butterfly specialist in person and maybe take a walk around one of the local metro parks. It's going to be entirely optional. It would be during after school hours, not during school hours. If you guys, this week, our weekly discussion is going to be based around that. So our weekly discussion is actually going to be a forum where you tell me whether or not that's something that would interest you. So I can start figuring out how I can organize this with the local butterfly expert if we have enough people interested in making a group of this, making a group and making this outing happen. So I hope you guys are doing great. I really, really, really loved reading all of your responses last week. Some of you guys who had the My Three Animals things and also your choice board answers were super thoughtful. They really blew me away, and I shared lots of them anonymously. I shared lots of your awesome responses with my coworkers and with my wife, and at least one of them with Mr. Hinsey because it was a joke I thought he would really like. So thank you guys so much. Even though we're not in person, I do feel like I'm getting to see your personality shine through, and it really encourages me to hopefully post more assignments where you guys get to share your personality a bit with me. Hope you guys have a great week. I don't know if you heard the announcement, but it sounds like we may be moving back to some type of in-person class soon. So keep your ears peeled for whatever information we get from the district here, and perhaps before you know it, we might actually get to meet in person. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. We do this. We do this. Oh, looks terrible. Looks okay. Yeah, that's gonna be the best.